All right, welcome to apexinvesting.com. My name is Daryl Martin, and this is another webinar on Be the Sniper or Be the Target. It's your choice if you're going to be the sniper or the target, and you have to make it today. If you want to join us free for 30 days with no credit card at apexinvesting.com/bootcamp. Okay, apexinvesting.com/bootcamp. As usual, we got to throw up our risk disclosures. There's risk involved in investing. Know what you do before you're doing it, etc. And I wanted to make a little announcement. We're doing some donations, back to school donations. There's some families I'm aware of in our little local town here that don't have the money to pay for, the back to school supplies. And I believe that we're blessed to be a blessing. And so what we're doing is we're buying school supplies for them because their parents are out of work because of COVID. And they literally can't afford them. And so if y'all want to be part of that, and this isn't, you don't have to, but if you would like to be a part of helping these kids out, if you will email me, my wife is buying backpacks and school supplies and all that stuff tonight. We're going to bring them up to the kids tomorrow morning so they have school supplies and backpacks, just like all the other kids. They have to have backpacks this year because they can't use their lockers with the COVID stuff. So if you want to email me, that'll just add to how much more we buy. And my PayPal is drmartinjr3i @gmail.com. And my Venmo is venmo.com Daryl R. Martin Jr. So if you'd like to be a part of that, we'd love to have you as a part of it. But we like to do things and reach out to the community, and thought it'd be cool to, just let y'all join in. So, and then another thing is a great book on giving. I just thought this might be a cool time to bring it up. It's called The Blessed Life by Robert Morris. And it's taught me a lot about being a blessing to other people. And if you want to learn about, the real spirit of giving and actually understand it, not feel judged, but understand it, it changed my heart in a lot of ways, and so I highly recommend you check the book out, The Blessed Life by Robert Morris. You can get it on Amazon, Kindle, all that fun stuff. But again, if you want to send those donations, again, we are buying the supplies tonight and bringing them up. James says he has the book and he loves Robert Morris. Yeah, he is fantastic. But so I'll give y'all one more chance. Also, I'll post that over in the chat. So if y'all would like to, like I said, be a part of that, then we welcome you to. And like I said, we're blessed to be a blessing, and there's nothing greater. So on the trading side, I had a pretty incredible week this week. Yesterday, I netted out by the end of the day. Let's see here. I'll pull it up and show you. If I can get past all my other screenshots. And I can zoom this one in. But came in at about $257,000 between 13 accounts. So it was an amazing day. I thought I would go over some simplicity trades that I did yesterday with you on that. How does that sound? We can check out those charts together. All right. So let me get rid of all of this. I'm going to bring over two charts. Let's see here. Let me grab the simplicity chart. Come on, move. There we go. And then I'm going to go up here, and there's a feature called Global Draw. Global Crosshair. And we're going to scroll back. Let's see, is this yesterday? Nope, this is today. All right, so the first thing I did is half of that money came from, I did a big overnight trade. It's not a normal trade. Where I put a trade on overnight, put a stop, and put a big take profit on, and literally made half of that on just doing 8 contracts. I only traded 4 to 8 contracts per account. Somebody asked, how do I manage that many accounts at once? In NT7, I use the group account feature. In NT7 and NT8, we have a new copy trade feature. It's not ours, but it's a third-party plugin that lets you manage your entries, your stops, your ATMs, all that stuff across multiple accounts at one time. So you can trade multiple accounts at once. The new one on NT8 even allows you to trade MNQ and it places a trade on NQ, or you can place a trade on NQ and it places a trade on MNQ. So it's pretty sweet, and we just got our update from Markers Plus, which was the last thing we were waiting for, was to get the update from Markers Plus. So we got to test that out and make sure everything's working correctly. But I already have the NT8 training done. I have all the videos done. We just have to finalize the testing of the new Markers Plus automation template for our trading assistant, and then we will be good to go. We are literally on the final steps. So, anyways, as you can see over here in the morning, I got on. What time? I want to say it was probably, I got on about 7:30, and I had taken off my main trade. It dropped down, and been just chopping, and we got a long right here. If I look right there, okay, and I go over one where both of them are angling up, I can see that the high of this bar right there is what, at 1207, whatever, 25 there, and didn't have much to go for. So, but went ahead and hopped in the trade and got a small profit out of it. Closed out right here, got in right here. So didn't make much on that one. So it's like a 1.5. But then we got a reset where everything turned the other way and then came back the other direction. This time, I was pretty excited about it because it wasn't going right into a dynamic magnet. And so we were able to hop in this trade. Got a little bit more out of that one. So right over here, they were both angling up. And this was one of those early entries I talked to you about on last week's webinar. So I got like 4 points on that. And then it went to a bit of a chop mode. And we got another, I went for another one because we had more room to go up. And so on this one, we had nothing until right here. This one I was pretty cautious. I was like, okay, my stop's not far away, so I was going to go ahead and take it. Went up, it bounced around and chopped like I expected it to. Then flew on back up. It didn't close back till the solid line right over here. 6.5 points, nothing major. But then we got a really, another nice one that came in. And on these you'll start to see as we take the trades. But you'll start to see where I don't always hold on to them. Like if I held on to the trade, it would have lost. But as it went up, it hit that paw, and I ended up taking it off when it got really close, right over here. And it fell back down. I was like, I'm going to tighten this one up. Tighten that up. Didn't make much on it. And then we went to the 935 section. Okay, so we're able to enter right here. Both angling up past 935 because we had our dark zone in this crazy time. And it was pretty ugly, but then it just took off. I'm going to have to shrink this so we can see the entire trade. There we go. And it was one of those days. Find the 935, 30. Here we go. Closed it out right there. Grab 28.5 points. And then we took the reversal right off of the flux pivot. So went in. We got short, no entry, no entry, no entry. Finally, right here, get an entry. And do you think I took it off there, or do you think I took it off down here at the dynamic magnet? Yep, I took it off of the dynamic magnet. So 23.5 points on that. Somebody asked, so you can have more than one Lulu account? Yes, you can. You can have as many as you want, as far as I know. So I have quite a few. Somebody asked what time are our charts. All of our charts are in Eastern time. So then we got another long right after that. It was just one of those days where the market was just swinging. And again, what do you think I did here? Do you think I waited till it fell back, or do you think I took it off at the flux pivot? Got my entry right here. Yeah, take it off the flux pivot. You know, if anything else, at least tighten your stop to the dashed line. Okay? If you want to give it room to run. But took it off the flux pivot. Another 17.5 points. Then we go in. And I'm looking for a short. We don't get one right there. Finally comes around and took a small loss. So it wasn't all winners. Okay. I think that's important to point out. So right out here, lost like 8 points on that trade. So this one was going back into the flux pivot. I left it alone and waited for a short. So, and we actually got a short, an early entry short right here. So I was able to go in and grab that one. Right there. And I got more than this, but you know, if you look at like where we could be targeting along the way, it got all the way down here. And what do we have right below that? Y'all see that on the sniper chart? Got a wall, got a dynamic magnet, got a mini magnet. Does the market always go right to where you expect it to? Does it sometimes miss it by a few ticks? Yeah, so I tightened it up and got at about 17 points. Got ready for another reversal. And right here, we go in and we're waiting. We finally get both up. We got up there again, target the flux pivot, grab 13 points. So it's chopping around. And I didn't get that last short right there. But this one would have... Actually, this one would have bounced around because it didn't actually ever close above the stop. So if you would have got that one, I was done. But if you would have got that one, let's see, where would it have been at? Not here, not here, not here. Looking. Nope, not there. Yeah, there actually even wasn't. Oh, there was an early entry right there. Okay, so you had the early entry. And then that one, you would have went down and targeted, of course, the same level. And there was 21 points. So, I stopped at 12, so I guess I did get that one. Okay, yeah, that's the one I didn't get. I didn't get that reversal back up. But out of that, who sort of gets that? Who just understands the summary of what I just went over? Fado asked, how am I making both screens scroll at the same time? I set the pointer to be global crosshairs on both. It's really annoying if you don't want it on there on purpose. But if you do, it's fantastic. And then it'll make it where the bars line up. And it's sort of helpful for seeing like where trades are going. Now you're watching this, it's going up, it's going up. Flux pivot. You can see that there's a Paul right there as well. Take it off. Coming back down, I can see on the sniper chart. So now that I sort of map the charts, let's go back and look at the trades a little bit slower, looking at simplicity. Okay? So over here, I think we had a couple earlier too. There we go. So over here, looking at this trade, I didn't have a high expectation for it. Why do you think I didn't really have a high expectation? Like, I felt like it probably wasn't my best trade. What do you think that reason was for? Yeah, it's right into a dynamic magnet. So the only reason I considered it is the stop was not that far away. It was only like 2 points away. So, explaining the entry, yeah, it's when you have two green lines, the dotted and the solid line, are both angling up. Okay? That's the setup bar, and then the next bar has to break its high on that bar. Does that make sense? So two green lines, both angling up, setup bar has to break the high of that 30-second bar. So yeah, I was going right into a dynamic magnet. It came down. I didn't hang around. I got out of the trade. And it didn't give me a short right here, which I would have liked if it would have given me one, but I'm sort of glad it didn't since it went the other way. Because by the time it got here, then it was angling up, not down. We got over here. I have some room to the dynamic magnets. Right? So if I'm going up, 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 up here, and in reality it says 4.25 points, but this thing got up here, okay, and then it went right back up, but didn't quite hit that dynamic magnet. And I see ODD forming. I see a 19%. What do you think I'm doing? I'm getting out. Yeah, so I actually was able to grab another 5 points on that trade. Okay? So it came down and it dropped, but I actually held on to it a little bit longer because I thought it was going to go up and hit that dynamic magnet. When it came short of it again, I got out. So I should have got out right here at 4.5 points, but just reading the market, I was expecting it to oscillate and come back up. So the stop loss, yeah, to help explain the stop loss again, and there's a great video where in the section 16, where I go through the entries, the stops, to take profits like really slow. I do it like John format, where I'm like really slow, really repetitive, okay? But the stop is going to be the solid line. John's like, hey. The stop is going to be the solid line of the setup bar. So since both of these were angling up, that solid line is my stop loss. Okay? And I actually don't exit right if it hits it. I only exit if it closes below it. So I actually have my stop about 5 points below here. And then if it closes below it, I just hit the close button. And then I start trailing it about 5 points below the solid line after it passes break even. And I will go backwards and forwards with my stop until it closes below it, and then I'll hit the close button. So on this one right here, now if it's an early entry, meaning the solid line is above the dotted line, then I leave it at the low of the bar, and then as soon as the next bar closes, I use that bar's solid line as my stop. If you have both charts, question is, when you're in a trade, does it show up on both charts? If you have the same account selected on both charts, then it will show up on both charts. Okay, so we got over here, chopping around, and then I get along, again going into a dynamic magnet, not super excited about this, I'm just seeing really big, rangy market days, like the way it's lining up. Finally, I get along over here. And it's going up, and I'm just like, I'm out. It's just chopping. Like, basically, here's what I said: is I'm at the top of the range, and I don't see it breaking out right now. And so I just sat back and I said, okay, we're about 15 minutes from open. I'm at the top of this range right here that's just been going like this. I just need to get out of the trade. And I'm glad I did, because I would have lost on the trade. We got about 15 minutes till open, so I stay out of the way. I stayed out of open's way because it's insane. And it was still a little bit insane even after I got in on this one, but I'm like, I think it's going to take off and go up. Now, the reason I had a big expectation of it taking off and going up overnight was because China was doing a lot of stimulus into their economy, and that's why it went up overnight. And I figured it'd go up, but we'd have some big swings with all that extra money coming in the market. So I hop in there. Now this one has a big stop, right? Look at that one. I mean, that's a big stop. Would y'all agree? Down here, like 14 points. All right. So one of the things that I teach is you don't place your stop based on how much you want to risk. You choose your size based on how big the stop is that you want to risk. So, in other words, your stop should always be where your stop should be. It shouldn't change because you don't like it, okay? Because it's too big. You should go, oh, I'm not willing to risk 20, I'm just going to risk 5. Well, fine, get knocked out for 5, okay? So, what would you do in this case? If risking 20 points on an NQ contract was too much, what do you think you should do? Not get out. You shouldn't get in if that's the issue. You could wait, but you'd still miss the trade. So how do you scale down? What are y'all telling me right now? How do you scale down from a mini contract? You go down to micros. And what do I suggest anyway that most of y'all use on this? Yeah, micros. I mean, 20 points is $20 on a micro. Like, isn't that right? What is it? Well, I guess it's, what is it, $2 a point? So 20 points is $40 on a micro. So, do 1 micro, do 2 micros, do 3 micros, whatever, is justifiable for your account size and risk tolerance. Doesn't mean you can't take the trade. It just means you trade less contracts. Okay? There are times I go to micro contracts. The market's just nuts. I'm not trading full-size contracts. Or, what is the other option? If it's too nuts or too big, what's your other option? Just stay out of it. Yeah, you can demo it, you can sim it. Just make sure when you do it, you don't go, oh, I should have taken it, Because you get stuck in that bad land. So, either go to micros or just don't take the trade. This one takes off, and it gives me an entry right above this, and I think it's ready to break out. It does break out. It takes off, it's going over here. Now, do you think I waited till here to exit? Like, do you think I waited till over here to get out of the trade? Where do you think I got out? Yeah, I got out right there. So if anything, if I'm going to stay in, and this is something I really want to stress, if I want to stay in on a trade because I think it's going to break, I will move it to a hard stop at the dotted line. And then I can just trail with the dotted line up. So either take it or tighten it up to the dotted line if you're getting to an area where it's meeting resistance. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? And I mean, that would have got a few more points out of it, but yeah, just out there. And then do you see how this one's like, see how this is a nice curve? This is what I really like. See how this sort of curves around? It comes right off of a major level. I don't know if y'all remember that from a past webinar I did on simplicity, where I talked about these nice curves that just curve around off of a level. So that set up a really nice trade for us. We went in right down, literally to the tick. Got here. Do you think I'm getting nervous right here? Because I don't know if it's going to hit that. Do I want to let it go all the way back up here when I know it's coming into something? So what is my alternative? Besides just closing, what's my alternative? Yeah, the dotted line. I can move it to here. So I can take my stop, wherever it is, if I can get the line. Come on. There we go. And I can move it to here. But when it hits that line right there, I'm either here or I'm closed out. So Abdul asked, if you move your stop in NinjaTrader 8, will the new Copy Trader plugin move it for you? Yes, it'll actually move it with all the accounts. It's a lot better than the group plugin. Yeah. It mirrors all your ATMs, everything. And see, what do we got right here? We got another nice curve. You see this? It just comes down and just curving back up. And look at that, right to the flux. Y'all see that? That nice curve? Those are the ones I really like. Now, do you think I trade more contracts when I see one I really like? Yes, I do. When it's one that I'm like, like, remember I said 4 and 8? Like, I'm trading like 4 on the, not so sure. I'm trading 8 on the ones that I really like. Does the setup bar have to be green if the solid and dotted line are green? No, it does not. Just the high has to be broken on the very next bar. So it does not, the bar does not have to match the color. So we go down here, we're curving again, and then just, like I said, perfect move. We get both angle up right here. There's our entry. Here's our stop. When the dotted line gets to this point, we're trailing. For close below, that closed like right on. So I'm just leaving my stop. I mean, it's like, it's on, it's not below. And then it keeps going up, and then I'm out. This one, I think I positioned it wrong. Yeah, it goes right there. So we got another short right there. This one decided to do a pullback on us right back up to the flux pivot again. And then give us another early entry. And I like this. When we're at a level and we're just like chopping right at a level, that means we're about to break out. So if I get a breakout short, or if I get a breakout long above the level, I like that trade a lot. And that one flew down. We go down here, we can see we're right at a ZOI. We're right at 2 mini magnets. So right at this point, right there. So I'm already getting nervous. What do you think I'm doing? We get into that point, I'm like, okay, dotted line. I'll close the bar, dotted line, dotted line, dotted line. It's coming down. It starts Be in a little trouble, I'm out of the trade. It pulls down and starts reversing, I'm out. I like it when we teach this in our breakout course. It's a NADEC course, but it applies to everything. But we talk about kink and burst. It's like if you get a water hose and you kink it up, and then all of a sudden you let it go, boom, right? You get a big surge of water coming out, right? Whereas if it's just open, it just sort of flows. But if you kink it up and then let it go, it bursts. Well, this is like kinking the hose, especially when it's right on a level. So the hose is being kinked. I'm waiting for it to burst. Boom, there's my burst. And remember, the early entries a lot of times will pull back. So it pulls back and then drops. Goes around. We get a nice, again, this is a smooth curve. This isn't all crazy jagged. We get another long right there. Got to stop right here. We move our stop. Move it up, up, up. We hit that flux. Get out. Don't always feel like it's going to go to the moon. Who else find, like, I know I have this trouble, okay? I have this feeling like it's going to go to the moon. Like, man, if I get this trade, this one trade could make my account. Like, anybody else ever get caught in that? You're just like, man, it's going up, it's going, man, this thing is just going to fly. And so you don't close it. So the way that I don't get out too soon is I use simplicity to help me stay in a trade. The second way is I use targets. I like to have a target. Notice on all these trades, what do you think we're targeting? Like if I expand this out, do you see a target range? I mean, do y'all see that? Is that pretty crystal clear to you? And then did y'all notice, I don't know if you did or not, we didn't have a lot of things in our way on these trades moving. And this one moved back up. We didn't have a lot of stuff in our way. So it hops in right here. We don't got a lot in our way. Look on the right side of the chart. Notice how there's not a lot in the way. Again, look on the right side of the chart. Look how there's not a lot in our way till we get down to about here. Do y'all see that? Like, not only do I have a clear target, but I also have a clear path. Now, this is opposed to, remember like last week before that, where we were stuck in with all those walls like every few points? So if you just look, I mean, look at this day. But if we go back just to this zone, the morning zone when I was trading, we had these big open areas without anything on the way on the sniper charts. The dotted horizontal lines are the dynamic magnets I teach you to plot on the 10-minute chart. And the dotted blue ones are the flux levels I teach you to plot on the 60 and 240 chart. Yeah, often you'll find somebody says that they see that a lot of times that there is a sniper entry at a big simplicity reversal. Often there will be, especially like a number 4, things like that. You seem to be very adept at knowing when the breakout is going to happen. How do you know when it's going to transition from green to red? Well, usually whenever you're consolidating and or you're coming off of a major level like a flux or a dynamic magnet. mean, you can see this one went up here, it hit it, pulled down, but then went back up. Where would you went long on this? Up to that level right there. So it's knowing what, it's all about like understanding your targets, and that helps you get a lot better at picking your simplicity trades. It's like, okay, I think it's going to go down to this and up to this and down to this and up to this and down to this. And I don't see anything in the way on my sniper chart. So I can't just trade that. I got to understand sniper. I got to trade sniper. And I'm trading snipers all along the way. I'm not just trading simplicity. And I'll add in contracts. Remember I said 4 to 8, but if I get like a number 4 in the middle of that thing, if I'm in here and I get a number 4, I'm going to add in another 4 or 8 contracts. Now again, I'm not telling you to do 4 or 8. I'm trading a $300,000 account. But you see what I'm saying? Like when I see a sniper entry, I take the sniper entry also. One of the videos, Perry, I went over and I show you to remove the flux pivot levels from your sniper chart and to add the NQ walls to your NQ sniper chart and the ES walls to your ES sniper chart. By the way, all the money I made that day, I made just from trading NQ on sniper and simplicity. Some of y'all were trying to watch like 20 instruments. I'm watching, I have 2 up. But that day I was literally trading 1 instrument and that's it. If you take a sniper trade and simplicity catches up, you can actually use it to trail. If you want to. So the question was, would you take the sniper exit or the simplicity exit? If I see there's room for a target, again, that being a bit like nothing's in the way on my sniper chart, I have a target on my simplicity chart, and remember, y'all can pull this chart up. You may not have the lines on it if you don't have the extra data feed, but you can still pull it up so you can see your dynamic magnets and your flux pivots on the chart. And then you can use the room chart, like in the corner or whatever, to do your trades. Is this making more sense? Like, are all days like this? Are all days clean on simplicity? With big, nice, clean target ranges? No, they're not. They're not all big like that. Today I made a few $1,000s per account. But you still see some big ranges, don't you? But there's also now a wall in there. So you get a short over here, you take it down, and you're tightening up on that wall. Right? So now I'm on today. Then you get another one, you're going down, you're shooting towards settlement. It gets close, tighten it up. Goes long, you're out with a small profit. Comes up not quite, but look at what's going on. What is it doing? What do you see it doing right here? Anybody see anything happening in all this? It's kinking. That's what I really like. I really like it when it kinks. It's about to burst. So when it finally burst, right here, you get your down angle. Go down, target that settlement line. You know, if you want to tighten it up, drill it down, get a little bit more, down to that flux pivot. There's 36 points. That was today. Now it comes around and makes a pretty decent turn. And this, I think, is a good lesson right here for you. It makes a turn. Trying to find a point. There we go. Comes down, and it loses 8 points. Okay? That's okay. Get out, because you don't want 8 points to turn into 80 points. But it starts chopping again. And it doesn't give us a down break. But it gives us a long break. And where are we targeting on the long side? We're targeting this wall, right? So we get a long. Where do we get out? Right there. That's 29 points. Those are some huge trades. And that's this morning. I had a couple trades and I'm like, I'm done for the day. Like I was out, I finished right at 10:50. If y'all were on like 10:50, 10:55, I'm like, I'm done. Do you see why I was done? Did I need more trades? If we go back and we look a little earlier from the open. And by the way, oh, the other point I wanted to make over here that I forgot. This would be like a reset. When both turn red and then they kink up, that's a reset that could give you a potential long. Okay? So, because it kinked up. So we go over here, we look at the morning. 32, 33, 34, 35. I can enter trade at 9:35. Like on the dot right there. We go up, we hit the wall. We're out of the trade. 32 points. Turns around, doesn't give us an entry. Kinks up, burst down to the wall. Get out of that one, 16 points. This one, do you like it? Going right into a wall? No. Like, and if you do, make sure you're okay with the risk. Sometimes I take them if the risk is really small. We get another one over here. Got an early entry. It's moving down. Moving down. Right here. Oh, hold on. We come down into... You got to watch it. Now check out what happens. So we come down here. What did we run into? That's right. We ran right into, if you can see that, a flux and green ice. Could that be a good level to take profit or tighten up? You're right down here. Over here at flux and green ice. Sort of hard to get it like right on that. So tighten it up. Still got 20 points out of the trade. Can you have your entry on the other side of the wall? I wouldn't do that because let's say you took this one and then you're waiting on the other side and then you just kicks you. So the only reason you do that if you get a reset or if you're okay with the risk. So you wanted me to look at, let's see, what time did you say? That was a flux, and that was a green ice level. Can I go to 1050? 1050? $10.50, 12. I don't know where you're getting 12 from. So, oh, okay. Um, I mean, there was a simplicity long there at 10.50.30. So if you want to take that one because you thought it was going to go up and target it, but still inside the kink and burst area, I'd be much more likely to take this trade. And on this trade, again, low risk. So I like that. So it finally angles up. It breaks right there. Got a small stop down here. Goes up, hits that wall. I can tighten up my stop. Takes off. I can tighten it up again and hop out of the trade. There's 7 points, or I could ride the thing all the way if I had a target. Going over here, it's still closed down right there. So you would have got out at like 7 points. If I look up on here, I can see, we really didn't have much to target in that range. Let's see here. Trying to see what questions we got. Sorry, he meant 8. I meant 850. He said 2050. So let me see what questions I have. Yeah, I meant 8. It's not 10 o'clock yet. Yeah, there wasn't. It was actually it was green ice. It wasn't institutional. It was the green ice. A reset would be like when you see it, both of them turn red and then it turns green again after consolidating and you have a target. I still have an issue with seeing dynamic magnets.
In September 1976,
Alexa, off. Echo, off.
The People's Republic of China.
My Echo is talking to me.
Figure, either symbolically or administratively.
Echo, off. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I thought I was talking to it. Tell me about the Republic of China. They're invading. Lower risk equals between your entry and where your stop is. So if your entry was right here and your stop was right here, like how many points is that? That's like 2-3 points. So lower risk just means literally that, lower risk, between your solid line is and your entry is. All right, so let me get this. Still have issues seeing dynamic magnets. Okay, so you have to draw them on the 10-minute chart, Damien. They should be very easy to see. Because all you do is you go to the 10-minute chart. And then you just draw them. And you set them to global, all charts. So you shouldn't have any issues seeing dynamic magnets. Unable for the screen to move up and down while drawing the candlesticks. You should be able to move the screen up and down while drawing the candlesticks. You may want to watch our review of NinjaTrader, which goes over basics of Ninja. If you want to move the screen up and down, if you want to shrink it, you just grab it and shrink it, or grab it and expand it, or you hit Control up or Control down. And then if it's off and you want to refocus it, you hit the F in the top right of the corner here, in the very top right. But yeah, if you show that in your mentor room, they'll fix it. They'll help you with it, but it sounds like it's just knowledge. Does it tend to be clean when it's around an all-time high? Yes, often you will get clean ones around all-time highs. Because you don't have as much, you don't have walls, you don't have as much sniper data. Can you explain where your stop would have been on the loss before the reset? Looks like it should have been lower. Which loss? I'd have to scroll way back and find the loss. That's too slow. So the loss is always going to be, I don't know where the loss was on this. Oh, this one. So you're actually right on that. Good job. You caught me. Since the stop had not yet moved to break even to the solid line, you'd actually would keep it here. So good call. And you would have stayed in that trade up to the wall, and you would have made 44 points on it, not taking a loss and not having. But let's say so good call on that. But let's say you missed it. Here's a reset where it's consolidating, and you get another long. So you could have taken that entry. So, good call, Benjamin. How much copy trade will cost to Apex members when Ninja 8 is rolled out? It's $100. Apex members get like 10% off. And you get a free trial of it so you can try it, see if you like it. Yep. And it's worth it because think about how many ticks can it cost you going from one chart to another chart to another chart, or trying to adjust stops on multiple charts. Can that cost you a lot of ticks? I mean, just in a day, can that cost you multiple ticks? Going from one chart to another chart to another chart. Try it. You'll find out. It will cost you a lot of ticks. It could cost you points. Literally waiting from one to the other and then trying to close them all out individually. And that's just in a day. Add that up over a month, it can add up to thousands. So it definitely is awesome. Edward, if you draw your dynamic magnet and your flux levels and set them to global, they'll draw on your 30 tick chart as well. But you got to draw them off your 10, 60, and 240. The flux and magnet levels don't print on there because we don't go in every day and do it. You have to do it yourself on your own chart. So you can have the chart up even without simplicity on it, the 30-second chart, but then you can have the room chart like down in the corner. I use IQ feed for simplicity, and I use Rhythmic for futures. Actually, I have a futures feed also with IQ feed, but just as a backup. It's only like 20 or 30 bucks. What was the reset coming out of chop? So chop right here, both lines turn red. So you're getting another kink. That means you can get in again. So Rick, what is the purpose of multiple accounts versus just trading a lot more contracts on the same account? Well, there's two purposes. One of them is the biggest account we will let you have is $300,000 and a $7,500 drawdown on that account. So having multiple accounts, I have several $1 million and $7,500 times all of those accounts. So I get more drawdown and do the contract that way. So it gives me massive leverage by having multiple accounts. So the second advantage is, do you think seeing a $500 loss in 10 accounts, even though it equals $5,000, seeing $500 in each account hurts a lot less than seeing like a $5,000 loss in one account mentally for your mental capital? I mean, think about that. If you see $500, it's in 10 accounts. We see $500 draw, like you lost $500, even though you lost $5,000. You don't feel like $5,000. You feel like 500 because you don't have that big drawdown going across all of them. And so it is a big, to me, and John agrees, it's a big mental capital boost. And I can go in, I can try to make $1,000 or $2,000 in a day on an account, and I made $20,000. Can you have multiple $50,000 accounts? Yep. I know there's somebody who has like 10 or 15. All right, so was that helpful tonight? Like just showing you targets and the curves and the resets and the consolidation, the kinks, the breakouts. Like just trying to, unveil pieces of simplicity for you at a time. Help you get better at it. Did you notice we didn't take every single trade? Yep, you have to do an evaluation for every single account. You can do them at the same time. All right, well, I'm glad y'all got a lot out of it tonight. And I will post this up. And I'll put it on YouTube. I'll put it inside of our Facebook group. And I'll have it on our website tomorrow under section 16 of Simplicity, okay? So you don't want to take every trade. Yeah, I want to really point that out. You don't take every trade on Simplicity. It's not like Sniper where if it all lines up, you take it. Part of the it all lines up is off a level, with the target, with room, without obstructions in the way. That's the big pieces y'all got to be looking for. Nice curve, kink and burst, off a level, without obstructions in the way. Nice curve or kink and burst, off a level, without obstructions in the way. Let me say that again, and everybody should be writing this down. A nice curve, a kink and a burst, or a kink and a burst, off of a level, with no obstructions in the way. Okay? So if you didn't get that, go back and watch the recording, write it down, and practice in sim. You shouldn't be don't practice with your real money. Practice in sim, get it down. Yeah, there you go. Nice curve or kink and burst off a level with no obstructions in the way. So we're to a level. This right here is a nice curve. It just came down and curved right up. Here's a kink and burst. Chad's getting a new tattoo with that on it. Boom, boom. Make it a rap song. Yeah, practice everything in Sim before you do it with your live or your Lulu. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I'll get this uploaded. Again, if you're watching this for the first time, I go through this step by step a lot slower and a lot of other setups that we use to trade at apexinvesting.com, and you can get a free trial at apexinvesting.com/bootcamp. Okay? Yep, to trade Simplicity in Sim, just choose the account Sim on your Simplicity chart. But again, check us out at apexinvesting.com/bootcamp, and we'll be glad to help you out. Get 30 days free access to the room where we call trades, to the tools, and the training. Y'all have a great evening.